Do I look 60? Now, before you answer that question, let me tell you a little story. It was one of those small moments at work that really shouldn't have mattered, but it did. A meeting was coming to an end, and a coworker wasn't feeling good, and he made a joke. That's what I get for being a 45-year-old dad with a toddler. I chuckled and understood, but then I told him, hey, I've got you beat. I'm 60 years old. I've got a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 9-year-old. Another coworker who was in the meeting with us looked at me and her jaw dropped and she said, I can't believe you're 60. I'm still trying to get my brain around that. When I got home after work, I told my wife the story. I said, a coworker told me today that she couldn't believe I was 60, and she seemed sincerely surprised. And then my wife, who always gives it to me straight, she said, was she saying that you look older than 60 or that you look younger than 60? I said, I think she meant I was younger than 60. And she said, oh, okay. Then she thought for a moment and then she said, I think you look exactly 60. Well, I've got to say that was a little deflating at first. I was hoping my wife would agree that I look very youthful. But then I laughed and it made me think about why did that first reaction I got at work matter to me? And I realized, I was wondering, am I just vain? Probably, but it really wasn't about vanity. It was about time. When someone reacts with surprise when they find out how old you are, what it feels like they're saying is, I still assume you're capable. You still get the benefit of the doubt. No one's silently starting to question, is he still able to handle all of this? Is he still able to do the job? I guess I take that message as someone saying, you're still vital, you're still full of energy, you're not over the hill yet. And I can still feel I'm in that privilege window, that period of time where I still am getting the benefit of the doubt. There's still an assumption I can do this job, I can handle my responsibilities at home, at work, and everywhere else. And there's assumption that I'm competent, capable, and can get it all done. But turning 60 recently makes me realize that that window's starting to close. Right now, I don't have to prove I can manage work, kids, stress, recovery, health, but I know that's not going to last forever. Eventually, the bias will shift. At some point, with the exact same performance, people will look more critically at what I'm doing, wondering if a person my age can do the things that I'm responsible for. So, what's the answer? Well, I think it's clearly time I get a bottle of Rogaine just for men and schedule a nose job, right? No, I'm not going to do that. And I know some of you are disappointed, but I'm not getting a nose job or any of the other things. And trying to look younger is really a weak strategy for what's actually happening to me and other people who are around my age. The real shift is replacing appearance-based credibility with structural proof of capacity. You have to start intentionally, I have to start intentionally putting things in place that demonstrate I am capable of handling all of my responsibilities. So what does that look like at 60? One, it's a health system. On this channel, I'm tracking my GLP-1 journey from being really unhealthy and overweight to getting to the right size and resolving many of my health issues. I'm well on my way there. At my high, I was 280 pounds. Now I'm down to 243 pounds and making a lot of great progress in the various metabolic conditions that I've had to work through. More on that in other videos. But you have to have a health system in place. Not heroics. The David Goggins days are over, but where we're taking care of our nutrition, we're managing our weight, we're sleeping reliably and intentionally, getting rested and recovered, and we're maintaining a predictable level of energy, not the ups and downs that maybe we got away with in our youth. Pacing, it's not surge and crash output anymore. It's sustained rhythm. Recovery rituals, scheduled, boring, but non-negotiable. I have to have time in my week to recovery. Constraint awareness. I've got to name my limits, and I have to be proactive in preserving my boundaries and what I can do, and not let other people try to expand those boundaries, especially when it serves their self-interest and not mine. And then explicit role design, leaning into my judgment, synthesis, steadiness, leveraging my strengths, and making sure that I'm taking on responsibility that leverage those strengths. So when my wife said, I look exactly 60 years old, what I think she really meant was, you look aligned. No disguise, no pretending. I look like someone who's lived long enough to understand the cost of instability and has chosen durability instead of instability. That privilege window will close. There will come a time when people will question, can he still do this? Is he too old for his responsibilities? And that's not a tragedy. That's a transition. It's going to happen to everybody. If I do this right, when people eventually begin to wonder, can he still do this? The question won't need an answer. The system will already be there. Steady boots, long game, still getting things done. Now, the original question was, do I look 60? And yeah, I look 60. But I can still get the things done that I need to get done. And you know what's going to happen this year is, although I will continue obviously to age this year, my health is actually going to get better. I'm going to lose more weight. I'm going to get more conditioned. More of my metabolic disease will be resolved. I am actually going to be stronger at 61 than I am at 60. I know many of you want to do the same thing. So I'm going to ask you to subscribe to my channel here. Join me on this journey. For many of you, I think it would really help to join my school community. The information will be in the comments, where you can really get support from people like us to regain our health and make the most of our platinum era, 60 and above. We're going to make these some of the best years of our life. If this was helpful, I hope you'll like it and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.